Hey guys, and welcome to Pretty Eyes. My name is Lavana. If this is your first time tuning in to this show, please hit that subscribe bell and subscribe. Also, if this is your first time tuning in on this show is for domestic violence survivors life after. So if this show is not for you, turn it over to someone that can definitely use the information. Hopefully, it will be beneficial to someone. I'm doing this show basically to encourage someone that has been in a domestic violence situation and basically to show them that there is life after being in a domestic violence situation. Also, when I'm all finished, in the description box below, I will be leaving 800 number for a hotline for domestic violence survivors that is trying to build back into the relationship world. To get you a new relationship, someone that's very, nice and kind. So tonight, guys, I just want to talk about 5 ways that you can build yourself up and looking forward to being back into a relationship, making sure that that is no abuse whatsoever. And I want to also say thanks so much, guys, for the support, for the phone calls, the texts, everything that you guys do. It really means a lot, and I really hope that this can help someone. Hope someone can benefit from it, build someone up, give them some kind of encouraging information or encouraging words to give them ideas of how to leave a domestic violence situation if they have not already. So, with that being said, I'm going to start off by talking about the 5 ways to build your love life up and build yourself up so you can get into the next relationship. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid because love is around the corner, love is in the air. So, with that being said, let me go ahead and get started. Number one for the 5 things, make sure that you forgive yourself. Forgiving yourself is a very important thing for self forgiveness. That should be at the very top of your list, forgiving yourself. And just always know that when you are forgiving yourself, that you kind of go through the motions after being in an abusive relationship of things that happened to you. And I want you to know that those things were not your fault. You did not deserve those things that happened to you, whatever it may be. And I went over plenty of different type of abuse that people do endure all the time. Another thing is the things that made you feel ashamed or made you feel fearful. Get rid of those feelings because you can't move forward if you're having deep seated, from the past, deep seated feelings. Excuse me. From the past, you can't move forward if you're constantly looking back, and you don't want to take in baggage into the new relationship with the new man or woman that may be in your life. Also, I talked to you guys plenty of times about that men are also people that go through domestic violence. So it's not just women. So men may be, wanting to seek a new date or, get a new girlfriend or a new wife or whatever that may be for them. But you have to make sure you do self forgiveness. All right. Number 2, make sure you set your boundaries. Your boundaries are very essential for you because you may meet someone and you may see signs in that person that they may be doing things that you may have seen in the last relationship. And if you're uncomfortable with certain things you see, you need to speak those things up front. Also, as far as your boundaries, if there's certain things that you're not going to do or not going to put up with or just a certain way that things need to be, those things need to be put up front. That way you have a clear understanding with whoever you're dealing with that, okay, this man or this woman is not going to put up with a certain behavior. So that way that's clear. That's clear for both parties. And then you can move forward. And remember to show those pretty eyes. You can move forward and also, build on a better relationship by setting those boundaries, forgiving yourself, and moving slow. The main thing is the boundaries are so important because you want to talk about your morals, your standards. You don't want to lower your standards for someone just to be into a relationship. There's a lot of people that are lonely. There's a lot of people that don't have relationships. And it's okay to be single. If you want to be single for a long time, that's totally fine. But the best thing is to find yourself, love yourself, so that way you can love someone else. I always spread the word about caring for others, lending a helping hand, lending a ear, to hear, and be very cautious about the people that you meet because sometimes You may meet people that been through rough things and they may not be an abuser, but if they can see the weakness in a person that's been abused, they will try to push those buttons. So just watch out for those things, guys. Number 3, knowledge is power. So the more you know about yourself, the more you will be able to give a person the good love that's really built inside of you that you weren't able to give to the abuser. And you don't want to be giving abuser the love anyway. You want to get far away from those type of situation moving forth. That way you can exhale, live life, smile again. And remember, I already said before that there is love after domestic violence. You can find love, whether that be in a friend, a confidant, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, someone you just spend time with. And you may not even want to put those titles on them or have a name for them. But if it's someone that's very dear or very special to you, those are the people that you have to have that knowledge for, where you can go to them and confide into things to talk about with them. Another thing, knowledge is power. So making sure that when you're trying to date again or trying to meet new people, know what you're getting into. Don't just take a look at the exterior. Take a look at the inside of a person, their heart, their mind. What type of mindset do they have? What do they have in store for you in the future? And if you want to just have a person to just kind of lollygag with, then that's your personal business too. But this is basically talking about for people that are trying to move forward and get themselves back into a healthy relationship. So you may need a few tips because sometimes you're really afraid. You may not be trusting people to go into the next relationship. You don't know what the outcome is going to hold. So a lot of times people hold their guard up. And that's just natural. That's natural. So, make sure you take care of yourself, forgive yourself, love on yourself, and that way you'll be able to love someone else the correct way. Because you don't want to become an abuser because you were abused. That's what happens with a lot of people because they don't know how to channel the emotions that they have, coming out of an abusive relationship. Number 4, make sure you take back the story that was told to you. Like, for an example, you were damaged goods. No one will ever want you again. And that's not true because you're not damaged goods. You're definitely a survivor. You're not a victim. So, as I stated before in a few shows previous, don't call yourself a victim because you're not a victim. You are a survivor. You have survived a very tough time in your life. And some people's stories are more horrendous than others. So it doesn't matter how long you've been out of the abusive relationship. It could be 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years, whatever it may be. But just remember that you are a survivor. You're not damaged goods. You will love again, and someone will love you again the correct way. So make sure that when you are seeking out this new man or this new woman, what have you, or if someone is even trying to talk to you and you may not feel the energy or the right mindset to talk to that person in that manner at that time, let them know. That's where you're setting your boundaries. You can let them know that, hey, I've been through a lot of things. Right now it's really not a time for me to want to date. I want to just take time to myself. Learn yourself again. That's very important. So that way you'll know who you're going to be dealing with. Because if you don't know yourself, how are you going to be able to know somebody else? You got to know yourself, but you got to love yourself first. So I just want to say that. And last but not least, it's going to be number 5. Number 5 is take time. Making sure you take time to yourself is so important. You need to not rush into anything. You need to take baby steps if you need to. Whatever that looks like for you. Take those baby steps. Make sure you feel comfortable. Don't let anybody rush you into something or make you feel guilty because they spent a lot of time with you or because they've heard your story or because you lean on them for, advice or information, things like that. If you don't feel comfortable doing something, you need to let that person know up front. Again, that goes back to setting those boundaries. But take your time with yourself because if you rush into something else, you're going to pretty much be seeing the same situation that you had before. Or you'll be trying to compare the new person with the old person. And that's a bad recipe. That's not going to help you move forth. That's not going to help you be able to build and build your strength up to trust someone again. So it is best to be friends with people first before you start the whole dating phase or being lovers, whatever you want to call it, because your heart is very important. Your heart is at stake. So I just want to say that so you guys can smile again, show the pretty eyes, make sure that you are taking care of yourself, fixing yourself up again. Like I told y'all before, doing things that is going to benefit you. Also, things that are going to make you feel happy and make you feel good about yourself. This is all about building your self-esteem, giving you an encouraging word. So when you do get back in that dating field, you won't feel like you're in shambles. You know, a lot of people don't know what step to take. They don't know if the person's telling them the truth. They don't know if they should trust them or not. So a lot of people that have been in bad relationships or domestic violence relationships, they always look for the next person to treat them the same way that the last person treated them. So, take that wall down. Be nice, be kind. It's okay to smile, but it's also okay to say what you're not comfortable with and you don't want to move fast. And make sure you set them boundaries. You remember I told you boundaries are very, very important. If you don't set those standards up front, then there's no expectation. So you got to make sure that if you're wanting something and you expect a certain way, that needs to be told as well, because both parties need to understand what they're getting into. That's how you learn, and that's how you build, and that is how you know each other. That's how you grow. So if you want to grow into a long-lasting relationship, or even if you just want a little fling, this might not be for you. This is something that's going to try to help your inner spirit get out for the outside, so you can show those beautiful eyes, smile again, also be able to be happy. And just remember that there is life after being in a domestic violence situation. So again, I told you guys that if this is not for you, turn it over to someone that can really use it, especially around this holiday time. And, Christmas just passed, Thanksgiving just passed. This is going to be the last video of the year. Of course, this show airs every Thursday. So I will be having new guests coming on to the show, coming around in 2021. I know a lot of people are really ready for that because we've had a very difficult, trying, different, surprising type of 2020. So I'm just glad that I'm here. I'm glad I'm able to do this show. If it was not for Jesus, I wouldn't be here sitting here to do this show. And as I told y'all before, I'm also a domestic violence survivor. No victim, but a survivor. Also, I told you it was 20 years ago, so there is life after. You can smile again, be happy, feel the joy that comes out, and surround yourself around positive people, positive men and women, people that are going forth in life to try to strive to do better, for themselves. If you hanging around a lot of people that are depressed or down in the dumps or everybody's kind of leaning on each other and nobody is picking nobody up, that's the wrong crew for you. So you might want to reanalyze yourself, do a self-evaluation, kind of step back, take a look at things, and kind of just, reanalyze some things, make some changes. 2021 is coming up. No more sadness, no more sorrow. We all go through tough times, but we also overcome them. So, with that being said, I love you guys. I'm so thankful to be able to do this show and hope that it will encourage someone to leave the abuser. If you have, I always say kudos to you. That's totally awesome because a lot of people don't know how to leave the abuser. They don't know how to move forth. They don't know what steps to take. They don't know who to trust. And that is exactly why I do this show. So with that being said, please tune in every Thursday. Make sure you subscribe. Like I had said earlier, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. That way you can get future notifications for things that are coming up. Next week, I will have a special guest on the show. They will be talking about their life story. or their abusing story, not their life story. That would be too much information for some people. They'll be talking about the story that they went through when they left their abuser, also what they're doing today, and what was their determinating point to leave the abuser. So remember the 5 things. I'm going to go over one last time. So if you want to jot it down, and then you can put your own notes to this. You know, this was just some notes from experience, you know, from things that I went through when it went back to getting back to the dating scene. 5 ways to build your love life up after leaving an abusive relationship. Forgive yourself. Number 1. Set your boundaries. Number 2. Knowledge is power. Number 3. Take back your story. Remember I said you are not damaged goods, and someone will love you again. The right way. Number 5. Take your time and don't let anybody rush you into something that you're not comfortable with. With that being said, guys, I love you. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I'm going to leave the hotline at the description box in the bottom under this video that I'm doing. And it's going to be called Learning to Love Again Hotline. That sounds a little exciting. So I'll be leaving that out. Also, if you guys would like to do an email to this hotline that's Learning to Love Again, I will leave the email address as well. Make sure you communicate, encourage each other, put all your personal things down, take care of your personal wellness. Also, self-support, get you a self-support group to build yourself up, and make sure you show those pretty eyes. You guys have a great night. Put God first, help somebody, show that smile, and you be encouraged. Talk to you guys next week. Have a great night.